What's going on, YouTube? It's your main man, Jabari Chris, representing from the St. Louis Natural Hair and Black Culture Expo. I know it's Black History Month, but I really didn't do this because of Black History Month. I'm doing this because of just giving awareness of Africa and America. Basically, I'll be coming with a small series of different locations in America with African burial grounds or Africa towns that are still in existence or that was in existence in the past, that existed in the past here in America since the transatlantic slave trade. I want to actually go straight into it, and got a small video here I want to go through, and just letting you know this American Artifacts. It's on American History TV. Check it out.
We're entering Africa Town now. When the 13th Amendment was passed, of course, Abe Lincoln had been assassinated, but when it did pass, it freed and abolished slavery throughout the United States. When that happened, most of the individuals that was on the Clotilda, they came back to this area because they said if we could get back to where we got off of that ship, we could get back home. And they brought their customs, their culture to this community, and they said, this is our Africa town. And that's how it got its name. Zip code wise, it's a part of Mobile. It's about a 12.5 square mile area.
Zip code wise, is part of Mobile, Alabama. The old Plato Cemetery, known as the Africa Town Graveyard, is the final resting place of enslaved Africans, African Americans, and Buffalo soldiers. The burial ground dates back to 1876, 16 years after Africans arrived on the Clotilda, which was one of the last documented slave ships to leave Africa for the Americas. The northern area of the graveyard is the older section, where the remains of the Clotilda survivors have been found through an archaeological preservation project directed by the College of William and Mary. The historic annuals of Africa Town are chiseled upon tombstones in this graveyard. All right, so let me continue.
So they ended up staying in this community. And I'll tell you, I stopped right here because about 18 months ago, one of our local journalists, a guy by the name of Ben Raines, was out in our delta looking for the Clotilda and fishing. Now, and it was in January, and so the tide was low. And he saw the bow of a boat sticking up, and he says, I think that's the Clotilda. We've been looking for it for 160 years. When Ben Raines said, this is it, we got attention from all over the world. National Geographic picked up the story. They sent in one of their lead senior editors. He came in, and in a short period of time, they said, no, it's not the Clotilda. Well, during that brief period of time, the community was awarded a $3.5 million grant. And that grant is to establish a welcome center. And it could be right where we are today, okay? Well, during that time, National Geographic also financed 9 divers, international divers, to come into Mobile, to go out to our delta. Our delta is the second largest delta in the U.S. Absolutely beautiful, okay? They go out, and they were out there for 2 weeks, 14 hours a day, looking for the Clotilda. Well, not only did, at the time, they said, we found 10 ships. They identified one, which was the Tuscaloosa. And they said, we're going to present a very comprehensive report to the community in an open meeting, but not today. And they did ultimately. They came back 9 months later, had an open meeting, and they said, we found the Clotilda. That's it. It's 25 feet under water in sand. Not for sure if we can bring it up. It might disintegrate. That's to be determined. They have engineers right now that are trying to determine if they can bring it up. They did bring up some artifact, but the most profound thing that took place was the fact that they validated that that was the Clotilda. There's about 300 fourth, fifth generation descendants that live in this community.
Several generations of the people of Benin living in the community. This right here in Mobile, Alabama. These folks look like people that I know. They're trying to find out about their people and enjoying the reunion as well. Enjoying one another. I guess them other folks there just for, I guess, entertainment. They stay in the area or they trying to see what's going on. You know, it's Alabama, so we can't, I don't know, we got to expect anything from them folks.
They were finally able to bring closure that that's the ship that their ancestors came over on. For 160 years, it's just been a rumor.
So if these people have an annual, reunion, that's embedded in their culture there. So I wonder if people from Alabama, how many people from Alabama know about that? Mobile, Alabama. So basically, I wanted to get more into this video. Basically, this little African American Mobile, Alabama edition. Get something here. These are just the actual graveyard that he was talking about. You know, where on that sign that I was reading. It's the actual graveyard there. I got pictures also. This is actually the Clotilda from the parts that was left. A little bit of the part that was left, but it's actually in the Mel Fisher, if I'm mistaken. It's in the Mel Fisher Museum. So check that out. The wildfire and the William Mary as well. So they were found at Higgs Beach, Virginia. That's another African burial. That's an actual African burial ground, but we'll get into that on another series. So this is actually Mobile River, actually where the Clotilda was found, pulled up from under the river with the divers that was hired by National Geographic. And basically, I'm gonna give you the story on this. Back in 1860, Timothy Layer got basically made a bet that he can go and illegally steal African people and bring them back here and illegally enslave them when it was prohibited back then. By then, in 1807, it was prohibited. So I'm thinking that was about 50 some years later, 1960, 60. So, actually 53 years later, yeah. So with that being said, he made a wager. He was a steamboat captain. He made a wager, came back with the slaves. Only one supposedly had died out of the 110. And actually, you know, Cujo Lewis is actually one of the last surviving slaves that was from the Clotilda. And basically, he brought 110 slaves. Over 5 years, they were freed. And that's when the Civil War had just ended, 1865. And they had the soldiers that came home and found out that they couldn't go home. So the people of Mobile, Alabama, the African slaves, well, not African slaves, because Benin economy was booming. But you do have to ask yourself, like, how did they go and conquer them? When you look up Benin's empire, like, how was they doing it? They had to do it through some type of religion, or I don't know what it had to be. But I'm gonna still keep coming with this. And so basically, The people of Africatown, Alabama, created their own independent society. It was controlled by blacks, ran by Africans. And these are people who built up a city, who shared their belongings and helped each other build their own homes. I wonder where that come from. So, also it's the hometown of Questlove. So, and definitely it had became a thriving community by the mid 1900s. Had businesses. It had a number of paper mills and different different plants to make products and stuff like that, grocery stores and homes, and eventually illegal cancerous smoke was being put in the air by the paper company, and people started selling their homes, getting sick and catching cancer. So the community basically vanished. Basically, I actually have pictures of how it look now. Let me see. That's some of the pictures. So some of you brothers who wanna say you wanna go back to Africa, you go right here. You can go right to Alabama. What's that? Off 24 to 65. It'll get you there. So, are you coming from Georgia? You hit 75 and get on 65. So, they also, and if you got a couple dollars, there you go. This house is foreclosed for $179. That ain't bad. That's a lot of space. In the woods and all. It was 2020. 410. That's foreclosed right there. You got a couple dollars, go ahead. Make it happen. To my Pan-Africans, you got Africa right here in America. All right. So basically in 1980, the state bulldozed their whole community and turned it to a 2-lane highway. That sound familiar, and a lot of that sound familiar in a lot of African American communities. That sound very familiar. So, this basically wanted to give a little bit of information on Africatown. How the people they were people from Benin. They spoke the Edo language. They were Edo. Spoke Edo language. It was several languages of people of Benin, but like I said, they were a powerful empire, and so I'm gonna have to look in more into how this man, Mr. Timothy, with a steamboat captain, a wooden one, can go to Africa, Benin, and bring back 110 slaves illegally. So, and that ship was actually intercepted by the U.S. Navy, if I ain't mistaken. Also, I'm just actually refreshing my memory. I've been doing a little research on this for the last here and there for the last couple weeks. But I'm really just trying to freestyle it. I got a couple of slides and picks up. I guess I can go over some of them. That's the homes. They did that. It's the actual pictures. And I had some more stuff too, didn't I? Oh yeah, that's the actual last surviving slave, Mr. Cujo Lewis. He actually was became a pastor of the Union Church. He still have great grandkids and family members still in the city right now today. Let me see, what else I got up here? I had some more info up here too, but it's my first time doing this, y'all, so work with me. But yeah, we got several African towns and African cemeteries here in United States of America. We got burial grounds. So the actual descendants, the actual people from the Catilda, like the sign said, they're on the north side of the cemetery, and people that came afterwards are more in the south side. So if you ever go, you kind of can just know that on where all the bodies are placed. And so it's pretty much it, y'all. 15 minutes is kind of long, but I'm gonna have to work on just hitting straight to the point. Yeah, the Old Plateau Cemetery Africa Town graveyard. So there we go, YouTube. So basically, quick overview. Like I say, this is the Africa in America, Mobile, Alabama edition. Basically in 1860, the Timothy Lear was a steamboat captain, and he made a wager that he can go to Africa and steal 110 slaves from the Benin Empire, as powerful as they was. Was these some folks that did something or what? Because Benin had that paper and was very powerful. So still is somewhat is today. So I don't understand, but it's right here in America. That's all I'm pretty much doing is for, to show folks that Africa is in America. All right. And basically, the ship was intercepted again, like I said, by the U.S. Navy, and and then right around the same time, the people was coming back from the Civil War, and everyone was freed. Basically, the soldiers coming from the Civil War, they had to, they couldn't come home, so they had to create their own towns. And if you ever in Mobile, Alabama, check it out. Peace.